Hey there everybody, I am Crunchy Scott and today I am doing something so stupid, but it is so 80s that I just had to do it. Today I am going way back and I am testing sun-in. For every 80s kid out there, for every 80s teen, tween, I'm sure you have a sun-in story from a summer where you just absolutely had to be blonde. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us 80s kids have contributed to the checkered past of sun-in. So you can imagine how surprised I was a few weeks ago when I was doing a pandemic run at Target, and there it was on the store shelf. I mean, the product looks a little different. Definitely the marketing is a little different, but it's got a nice, beautiful blonde woman on the front, probably a teenager because I think this is really geared towards young people. There it is on the shelf in all its glory, and I'm like, oh, well, I got some hair, and you know, it's been like 30 years since I tested sun-in or did sun-in. I should totally do it. Who cares? So here it is, and that's what I'm gonna do. In this video, I am going to show you what I'm gonna do over the course of a few days. I am gonna use this product not just all at once. I'm gonna use it over the course of probably about a week. We'll see how it goes. And then I'll let you know the full 80s gossip, tea, drama surrounding sun-in. And then of course, I'll give you a rating. I'll let you know if it worked. We'll have a reveal. Did it turn my hair blonde? Does it look nice? Is it orange? And I'll gauge it. I'll give it 1 to 5 Christie Brinkleys. 1 Christie Brinkley being like it is orange, very reminiscent of that 80s glow that you had in 1985 in the summer when you just doused your hair in it. And then 5 Christie Brinkleys being that sun-kissed Christie Brinkley that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, super tan, super glowy blonde hair. So that'll be the system, the very scientific system that I use. So why don't we go ahead and get started and test sun-in. Before I dump this stuff on my hair, I'm not gonna dump, I'm just gonna spray it. But before I put it on my hair, I thought I'd go over a few things on the bottle that were a surprise to me. Well, first of all, sun-in is a hair lightener, for those of you who didn't realize that from the beginning. And it says it's lemon fresh. That is kind of the scent or whatever I think it was in the 80s. I don't really remember any other scents. I remember lemon. So I don't think that has changed very much. But what has changed, and I don't remember this at all on the front of the bottle, it says it contains flaxseed, aloe, chamomile, all these nice natural ingredients that might help with damage to your hair. In the 80s, obviously, I don't remember any of that. We probably could have cared less about that stuff in the 80s. I mean, we would have said, you know, dump a bottle of chemicals on your hair and it'll turn blonde, and we'd have been like, I'm totally in. We could have cared less about like the naturalness of it for sure. Now, there was a few times where we would put lemon juice on our hair. Couldn't be more damaging, but that's what we did. Anyways, so it looks like they've updated the formula. Maybe that means that it's a little less harsh on your hair. We shall see. On the back, it has a few techniques that you can do or suggestions. Obviously, you're supposed to spray this in your hair and then it's heat activated. So you either go out in the sun or you use a blow dryer. But it says you can do the overall highlight, so spray it all over, or you can pull little pieces and that'll be your little chunky highlights. But then they've got a few things here of some like specialty sort of things that you can do. One is, what is this? This is the festival frame, which means you can just pull pieces around your face and do like a framed highlight. And then they've got the balayage technique, which is fairly popular among people today. And mostly women obviously do this. And then they do have something called Honey Glow, and it's a picture of a woman with very dark hair. Now, on the bottle today, it even warns people with dark hair may see reddish results. Definitely in the 80s, if you had dark hair, you knew to stay away from this product because it would turn your hair orange or red. Did that stop people from doing it back in the 80s? Absolutely not. Does it stop people from doing it today? Absolutely not, especially since some of the marketing has people with very dark hair on it. So anyways, that's what is on the bottle. The most important thing is it says to test a strand before you put any of this all over your hair. So in pure 80s style, I'm gonna do what I did back then when I was 12 or 13, and no, I'm just gonna go for it. Why test, right? It's just your hair. I have what I would consider to be virgin hair, meaning it hasn't been chemically processed or anything like that. It does look a little lighter on the top because I've been spending a lot of time out in the sun this summer, gardening, running, all that kind of good stuff. I do typically get my hair highlighted twice, 2 to 3 times a year. Last time I did that was back in November. I have had several haircuts since then, pre-pandemic, and then a lot of pandemic haircuts, and that's what I have right now is this pandemic haircut, which I think is actually going to make it pretty easy to get the sun in. I basically have been shaving the sides or cutting the sides super close with one of those buzzers, clippers kind of things, and then just letting the top grow, which is going to make it super easy, I think, to apply this stuff. But I think virgin hair or unchemically processed hair is probably best. So here's my technique. I am going to spray on the top. Oh, okay. So, wow. Okay, the scent is not bad at all. I was really expecting a more peroxide-y kind of scent. So I'm running this through with just my fingers. You are not supposed to use your hands to do this. You're supposed to, like, I'm sure, wear gloves because there is peroxide involved, but of course I'm not doing what it says. I will jump in the shower as soon as I blow dry because you're also supposed to wear like an old t-shirt, nothing that's good. If you're a guy, just strip down and do it like I did. That doesn't feel wet enough. So the smell, some of the reviews I've seen online, people are saying, oh, it smells so chemically and blah, blah, blah. I do not mind this smell at all. Actually, oh, I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. I was like running it through. Okay, so I'm just doing the top there like that. Just a little bit. My hair, you're supposed to do it on damp hair. And so crap, I totally forgot that part too. Anyways, just a little bit more up here. Okay, that's enough, right? Very glad that the smell is not terrible. Okay, so now all you have to do, you need this. All right, there we are. I do think I see a little bit of blondness in there. It doesn't certainly look like that I went and got highlights or I went from brown to blonde all overnight, which is right. That's what sun-in is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a sun-kissed look. So I'd say after one treatment of sun-in, I'm very happy with this. Again, it's supposed to be a process if you want things a little bit lighter, and that's what I am going to do. I am going to do this over the course of a week, not every day. I'm going to probably skip a day between my treatments and see how that looks. I'm also going to do some in the sun. I'm not going to just do the blow dryer. I would heed the advice, do not get this on your skin. I would use some gloves. Here is what the peroxide did to my fingers. I've got a little bit of skin damage there, but that is not on sun-in. That is on Scott for not following the rules. So I would say wear an old t-shirt. Don't certainly wear anything new when you're doing this. And if you can, jump in the shower like I am as soon as you're done. So good job, sun-in. Step one, day one. So not the experience I had in the 80s. As you can see, I decided to come outside to do this part of it, change things up a little bit, because it does say that you can use it on sun. You can use the sun as well, which I think is actually a good idea because you've kind of got the heat of the day, and today is actually the 4th of July, and it's like 100 degrees here in Washington, D.C., and so not only will I get the heat activation for the product, but I'll also get the natural sunlight, which I think does a better job, obviously, of lightening hair. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm going to find a place to sit for a second because I decided to do my run while I came outside. I have also been wearing my mask. There's not a lot of people out here today, so I kind of took my mask off in hopes of, being able to breathe while I run. But let me find a nice spot to sit down and then we'll talk about the rest of it. So just to give you a little perspective of where I am in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia, which is a suburb of DC. And generally what happens here on the 4th is this whole waterfront area, which that's the Potomac. Everybody kind of gathers there to watch the fireworks in DC. It is still early, but I'm noticing a lot of people starting to show up, which is why I put on my mask. And, some people are social distancing, kind of sitting around in a circle, but the concern is, of course, that once it gets to be nightfall and more people show up to watch the fireworks, it's going to get kind of busy here. It's interesting. I just passed my neighborhood gym, which I have not been to since March, and it looks like they are back open. I do not plan to go back to the gym until there's a vaccine. I am very health conscious in that aspect, so yeah, not going to be going back there. And actually, I need to check my bank account to make sure they're not charging me anymore. But anyways, I'm going to find another place to kind of go through the rest of what I wanted to go through here. I swear it's a lot sunny. It was a lot sunnier like 5 minutes ago. I need some sun, obviously to get this thing going. But anyways, I'll be right back. Wanted to go over a few things. So like I said, I'm trying the sun aspect of it. I did do it a little bit differently for the sun in this time. I pushed my hair back and sprayed the front part, kind of like it's the frame part of the face. See how that works. That kind of leads me into like my experience with sun in the 80s, which I had a good experience and I had bad experiences. So I'll go with the bad experiences first, which I think I had all of the normal side effects that everybody talks about with sun in from the 80s. Burnt hair, orange hair, yellowy hair, red hair, all those kinds of things. Damaged hair, of course. And I'm not going to blame that completely on sun in because I think I was like 12 the first time I did sun in, which was 35 years ago. And I'm sure I was not paying attention to the directions. You just wanted to get blonde hair fast, which probably meant you used it every day. You poured more than you were supposed to on it. Also, Sun-In's pretty clear about not wanting or not using their product on treated hair, like, colored hair or permed hair. And of course, in the 80s, how many young ladies had perms and were probably also dousing their hair with Sun-In? I'm not laying blame on anybody, but I'm just saying, I don't think we can blame Sun-In completely for all the damage that was done to our hair in the 80s. And then I would say the best experience I had was probably the summer of my junior or senior year where I got really great blonde hair. Almost platinum by the end of summer, to be honest with you. I wish I could find some pictures that I'll throw up. If I do, I'll throw them in here. But I'm sure by that point I'd been using Sun-In for a few summers and kind of got the hang of it and probably knew that I shouldn't be using it continuously. I was probably extra careful because I was about to take senior pictures and those were going to last forever, all those kinds of things. But I remember getting a pretty good result from it those summers, like junior, senior year, can't remember. But those were good results. So I can say some good things about Sun-In back then. Sun-In back then really was for blondes or dark blondes. Everybody else tried it, but it really was for people who had already blonde hair and wanted to kind of like, get better highlights or something like that. Now, I think there was some marketing or some ambiguous marketing about people using it, people with darker hair using it, and then getting the bad results. But unfortunately, it looks like now the product is a little bit better, or at least I've been reading some of the ingredients and they seem to be a little bit better. So there is that. So I'm excited to be out here for a little bit. I am going to go in, not like the 80s. What I would do is I'd spray it in and then go outside all day in the sun and just let it do whatever it did. As soon as I'm done with my run, I'm going to go home and wash it all out. I don't want peroxide in my hair all day long, especially in the heat of summer. So there's that. Okay, day 3, here we come. Before I spray this in my hair for the third treatment of Sun-In, I wanted to show you what things look like after day 2. Remember, I just sprayed it in my hair and went out in the sun for day 2. I've sprayed it mainly around my face. I don't think you can really tell on camera, plus my hair is a little bit dirty and oily right now. But I do think it did some subtle highlights, which is fine with me. Like I've said before, I don't want to do a treatment of this and be like, oh, you went blonde. So I appreciate the subtleness of the Sun-In treatments that I'm doing. So between day 1, which was the blow dryer, and day 2, which was the sun actually trying to do something with the Sun-In, I do think that the blow dryer worked a little bit better, in my opinion. But with that said, when I went out into the sun, I wasn't out there very long. I think it was 45 minutes to an hour long maximum. And of course, when you're a kid and you do this, you stay outside all day long. I did not do that. So for today, I am going to spray a little bit closer to my roots because I do think the ends are lightening up a little bit faster than the ends are lightening up a little bit faster than the roots. So I'm going to try and get a little bit more of the root, and I'm going to do a little bit more all over, which is a little bit dangerous, I know, because that's the part that grows out fairly quickly, the short ends, and can give you some serious roots. So I'm going to spray this all over, not heavy-handed, just enough to kind of get things wet. I know I didn't wet my hair again. Gosh, I'm so bad at that. But I'll get a little bit more of this in and then turn this baby on. Holy smokes. Okay, tell me that's not 80s hair for one. It's nice and big. But do you see sunlit streaks? I do kind of actually. Right up here against my face. I do think it did another good job of lightening my hair. Just like maybe 1 or 2 shades lighter. Not crazy. Yeah, it's a little nuts because obviously I just blow dried it. One thing I did want to say is if you decide to be an idiot like me and not use gloves, what I did as soon as I applied it, I washed my hands really well, blow dried it a lot, and then in the middle of the process, I washed it again. I'm blow drying for like 2 minutes on high heat, which I know is very damaging to your hair, but I feel like, you know, you kind of need to. But I did, in between that, I did stop down, wash my hands again, and then you know, made sure I didn't have any of the residue on my hands so that I can not get finger burns or skin burns again. And I am really used to washing my hands these days, as we all should be because of COVID. But anyways, I think it turned out pretty good. I think it looks nice. I do see a little bit of lightening, so I'm pretty happy with that. I want to point out that I am not washing my hair every day like I usually do. I am washing it only on the days that I do the applications. So as soon as I'm done with this, for instance, I will jump in the shower. I think that's lending to my hair not being in bad shape. The ends feel really good. They feel healthy. This does not feel like 1985 and it looks like my hair is fried or feels fried. Another reason that that might be is in preparation for this whole process, I did do a coconut mask 2 days before I started. I typically do coconut oil masks on my hair about once a month. But again, in preparation for this, I thought I needed a little extra bump. So I did one 2 days before I started this process. And I actually am going to do one tonight just to kind of keep things nice and healthy because I do only have one more process left that I want to do. And I think I am going to do one more just to kind of see what happens. But that's kind of where I'm going with, and I think why my hair is staying like in pretty good shape and it's not brittle and it's ready to fall out. If you want to see what my coconut mask looks like or how I apply my coconut mask, I posted a link to that video down below and you can go ahead and check that out. And it's all natural, it's very inexpensive, and it obviously keeps your hair in pretty good shape because I'm not feeling any sort of breakage or dryness or frizziness like I did 35 years ago. Day 4, final day. I just got back from outside. I spent about 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit more this time, but I didn't record anything outside because between the heat and my mask, it was just impossible. And it is super hot outside today. And the only thing I wanted to say about that is I did kind of spray it all over again to kind of see what it would look like, kind of get it that one more step lighter. I did think it had good results from that last one, the step 3. So we'll see. Step 4. It's a wrap. We're done with this. I'm going to go take a shower and get this out of my hair now. And then I'll show you what it looks like. The final looks like. There's a little bit of peak right there. But the only other thing I want to mention is the price point. $3.99 at Target. That's how much I paid for this. So super inexpensive. I believe in the 80s, I probably paid about $1 to $1.50 for it. There is a sale that stood out in my mind that was towards the end of summer that really struck my brain the other day, or struck a memory. There was like an end of summer sale on Sun-In, I remember, at a drugstore back in the 80s. And I got 2 for $1 of the Super Sun-In or the Extra Sun-In, whatever it was in a red box. And then the normal Sun-In. And that might have been the summer that I crisped up my hair pretty good because I'm sure that I used both of them on my hair and I'm sure it did not look great. But anyways, the thing about the price point, $3.99, no matter how well this works, I still don't think you should be expecting salon results. I live in a big city and even as a guy with short hair, I pay not $3.99 for my hair when I do get it colored, when I get it cut. So you have to kind of like manage your expectations with that. And I really believe that, you know, because of that price point being so cheap, $3.99 at Target. This has gotta be geared towards very young people who, this is what they can afford when they're going out by the pool all day long and seeing, you know, if they can turn their hair blonde with just a few bucks. So anyways, let's just wrap this day 4 up. Let's wrap up this test and I'll show you what my wig looks like. So did my dip into the 80s hair lightener Sun-In actually work? Yes, it did. And that's the only reason that I'm so extremely close in this shot, is because I wanted to make sure that you could see the results of how great they came out. So you can see it is a few shades lighter, a few subtle shades lighter than when I started out. And that's exactly what I wanted. I did not want to come out of this experiment with platinum blonde hair. The best part actually is that my hair is still in really good shape. There's no frizziness. The ends aren't fried. It actually feels really nice. It feels like it's really still healthy hair. Now, part of that is due to my hair care regimen. I will admit, I think if you decide to do Sun-In, you might want to follow some of those tips as well, because it is basically peroxide and lemon juice, which are not great for your hair. There is some other ingredients, but the main ingredients are not super good for your hair. So I did do the coconut mask, and I did not do all the experiments all on one day. I didn't just douse my hair with Sun-In and go out in the sun or even blow dry it. I did it over the course of about, I would say, 8 days. So giving my hair just a little bit of break between each little spritz and experiment. And like I said, I love it. I think it turned out really good. Full disclosure, the reason why I was so brave to do this, especially with my experience of Sun-In in the 80s, is because when I saw the Sun-In bottle, I was actually probably a day away from just doing a whole pandemic buzz cut. I was sick of having hair and I was just ready to buzz it off, but I saw the Sun-In and I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna buzz my hair out anyways, why don't I just try this, and if it fries, who cares? I'm gonna buzz it off, so who cares? Well, I tried it and it turned out so good that I'm actually thinking I might keep my hair, my blonde hair, for a little bit longer. Why don't you let me know in the comments if you'd like me to keep this longer, if you want to see me buzz it off. We'll do anything. But anyways, I did say I would rate this Sun-In at 1 to 5 Christie Brinkleys, and I definitely give it 5 Christie Brinkleys. 5 80s Christie Brinkleys that are suntanned and super duper blonde. Good job, Sun-In.